Hello, how are you doing? Good to see you again, Leon.
Yes, nice to see you again.
I'm glad you made some time to talk to me today because I think we've known each other for a little while, and through different organizations that you've used maintenance care through, and I want to talk a little bit about that. But what you been up to? What's been going on in your life right now?
Yes, so you're right. I got to know maintenance care when I was in healthcare, right? So as you know, I started off in hospitality as a young junior, right? And did a period there and then moved into healthcare and spent about 12, 14 years in healthcare. And I'm on the West Coast, British Columbia, and I was introduced to maintenance care. 2008, I want to say, 2008, 2009, somewhere like that. So been working with it since, and in the last 14, 15 years, I moved back to hospitality. So, and I brought maintenance care with me.
Yeah, we're grateful. So, yeah, when you say healthcare, that was actually senior care, specifically part of healthcare, and so there were some different challenges, I'm sure, between hospitality and senior care. So, what types of things did you experience back then, that were unique to that industry that you can think of that would be of value to share with other people about senior care itself and maintenance and the buildings and so on?
Yeah, so senior buildings are buildings, right? The infrastructure still maintains the same, right? So we need the power, we need your water, quality of air, and so on, right? So for the hospitality part of it, the building gets more usage, right? It's a different business that's within the building, right? Again, infrastructure is the same. So with healthcare, maintenance care really helped in making sure that we were on top of things, because that's the problem is your window of opportunity to get into some of the areas that would we consider common areas. It's not always as easy and accessible, right? In the care home facilities, because of the nature of the business they conduct, right? Where hospitality, there's a bigger window, and you're able to adjust a little bit more to it.
So because people are checking in, checking out, you have space, you can go in and do the work, or even like kind of block off a room or something. If you had big extensive work, you can't really do that in senior care because there's people living there all the time.
Yeah, exactly, Dan. And as we know, unfortunately, many times mobility could be a challenge in care home and all that. So if you have to access, especially a living area or occupied sleeping area, if you want to, in a whole bit, yeah, hospitality, we can actually take that room out and have 100% access. In the care facility, doesn't necessarily work that way, right? So that is always a bit of a challenge.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. So now you went from senior care to hospitality, back to hospitality, and so your role has changed too, right? Because you were in charge maybe of a smaller team and of a specific building, and now you're in a new role. How's that changed in your perspective?
Yes, so yeah, in when I was part of the care home facilities, now that I was overlooking three buildings, but they were smaller buildings, right? They were actually quite simple buildings, not too high end in technology. And now with my role here in hospitality, yeah, so I've acquired six buildings. Some of them are relatively big. And one of the which I enjoy, one of the challenges is some of the properties are aged, right? They're older properties, and that's where things have changed over the course. I gotta say, the last 20 years, 25 years is now everything costs so much more money to repair and replace. Everybody wants to get maximum life expectancy out of any kind of piece of equipment. It doesn't matter if it's a care home for a senior lift or one of their tubs or something that's part of a hospitality. And one of the challenges I do find with these older buildings, when I say older, I'm talking, 60, 70-year-old buildings, is introducing new with old, right? Because we live in a world now that technology is attached to absolutely every piece of equipment. And so those could be challenging, right? There's always a cost involved also.
Yeah, yeah. So you said 60 to 70 years old, some of these buildings? Wow. So you might have old plumbing, old wiring, and so that presents itself, a challenge where you're doing maybe some renos or fixes and things like that, I would imagine. But